Getting a report from law enforcement reporting a tornado on the ground near Cameron, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Estimated that it will cross I-74 south of Galesburg in the next 10 minutes, just as you said.
Okay, all right, yeah, I see that report here too. So that was from 7:38. That was just a few minutes ago, and so that would, as we zoom in a little bit here to this radar indication that we have, Teresa, that would indicate to me that if that was just a few minutes ago, this is a very quick-moving tornado.
Right.
Might even be hanging back in the red here a little bit. You can see a little bit of a brighter red right over 170th and 190th Street Avenue. There, and that would likely be timing back 3 or 4 minutes where the tornado might happen to be right now. So south of Surrey, actually an old township there. But again, these areas are really where you have already hopefully taken shelter. And if you're in Knox County adjacent to these areas, and you know that you're in Knox County and Cameron's to your west, you need to be taking shelter right now. Back to the desk, here's Gary.
Hey, Eric, we have another interesting perspective from you. This is from the rail yards in Galesburg. As you mentioned, the storm is not in that area yet, but it's quickly heading that way. So we'll be able to keep an eye on things from this image, too, as a unique perspective as this storm starts to approach this region, too, Eric.
This tornado is getting into Knox County, but now I'm concerned about this down here. Is this a new tornado warning? I think this is a new tornado warning. Yet again, we have more circulation here, and I just noticed that this red box is now in a different part. It's down.
That's for Warren County until 8:15.
Okay, well, here we go, folks. This is again an area of storms that have kind of punched a hole in the atmosphere. They mean some business, quickly becoming tornadic here. And now, as we look at Berwick, Illinois, you are the folks who need to take shelter. And if you live west of Berwick, right down 120th Avenue there, again, you are going to need to take shelter because now we have what looks to be yet another tornado right on you. Newest radar scan doesn't show it quite as prominently, but I think if you're in Berwick, you are close enough. You need to be taking shelter immediately. You need to take shelter as low as you can, lowest level of your house. Central location, bathroom, closet. Get as many walls between you and the storm as possible. No time to be taking pictures if you're not in a safe spot. And if you're in a vehicle, well, if you're thinking about getting into a vehicle and driving somewhere, don't do it. Get into a safe spot now. If you're in a mobile home, hopefully your mobile home park has a designated tornado shelter. If you don't have one of those, you need to think about Plan B and get into safe shelter other than the mobile home quickly if you're in the path of one of these storms.
Boy, several different communities sending in pictures of some of these actual tornadoes tonight that we are seeing. Eric, tell us about this one in particular.
Well, let me take a look here. I've been catching up on some info. It looks definitely, it's a funnel cloud. You can see the rotation, and that's one thing that we should clarify. It's a funnel cloud until it hits the ground, and then it becomes a tornado. And sometimes you really can't see that connection. Sometimes there's kind of a blank spot, and you look from the bottom of what you can see to the ground, and if you can see a debris swirl, then it's a tornado. I don't see one with that particular funnel cloud right there, so I can only say funnel cloud, but that is what we've been dealing with this afternoon, and a lot of these have quickly strengthened and become tornadoes, and we've even seen some more impressive funnel clouds than that right there. But that is some great video because you can see the actual rotation in the funnel and the base of that cloud.
Now we do want to show you some images we are now getting of damage. This is from Mount Pleasant, an apparent structure damage there, as well as reports from all around the area of a lot of trees down. But this is our first shot tonight we see. If you are in a safe place and see some damage, please send it to us so we can share it with the viewers, in particular for those who sometimes think we go on and on about these things for our own sake. Of course, this is all for the safety of you and your family. There are serious storms out there, and our job is to keep you informed. We have Mike Ortiz, who's the cameraman out there checking out the situation for us. Mo, what do you see from your perspective, and what have you been seeing the past few minutes?
Well, Gary, I traveled along I-80 all the way and then hit 88 to Hillsdale. At that point, I realized that there was some damage in the Port Byron area. I was able to take some back roads. But here in the Timberbrook area of Port Byron, there are a number of houses that have damage to them. One in particular, kind of major damage to the roof. I was able to talk to some neighbors who said what they were seeing was a lot of rotation, leaves and debris in the air. And folks I hear right now are starting to clean up. A lot of trees are down. A lot of trees are down. It went through this neighborhood, just one big swath right through probably about a 3-block area. And that's about it from here in Port Byron. I'll try and get a live look for you here of some stuff in the minutes to come.
There it is, right there. This is
that
raw
too.
video coming in. This is a house damaged, and we're seeing a lot of houses with roof parts missing. Look at that big gap in that roof there. Emergency crews on the streets there. A lot of trees down, which we assume now. A lot of power lines down. So even though the storm has passed, another reminder, there are a lot of hidden dangers out there. Pieces of debris in the roads, in some cases power lines down. But Erica, we're seeing now some of the aftermath.
So it'll be interesting to see up close what we have in terms of the damage from both of these storms, the strongest ones to the south, but also to the north. So we've got 2 storms that we're going to be following up on as we go through the rest of the evening here. Gary?
All right, and we do believe now we have Mike Ortiz, our chief photographer, who's been out in the Port Byron area. We have a live shot ready for you. And as we pull this up, I'm sorry, you'll have to introduce yourself to us. And as we see behind you extensive damage to that house, what have you seen in your area tonight?
I'm Spencer Hughes, and I'm from Port Byron, Illinois. I personally saw the tornado start to form. I was looking out my sliding glass window, and I saw the clouds start to rotate. So then I mentioned to my dad, I said, "Dad, will you come look at this? Make sure that I'm not crazy, that they're not rotating." And then he's like, "Yeah, they're rotating. Everybody get in the basement." And then so my brother and his friend were over, and they got down in the basement. So we're all sitting outside watching, and then I got a video of the tornado while it was in the next edition over from where we lived.
Well, we're glad you got into a safe place. That's a smart move. Now people are starting to come out of their homes as the storm has passed by. What are you seeing out there around you now? Describe that scene.
As of right now, I see all of our neighbors. We're a pretty close-knit community, and we're just trying to help each other out. As you can see behind me, there's a roof that has been blown off, and we're just trying to help each other out, clean up as much as we can.
And in this populated area, I would assume, how many homes do you see with this kind of damage?
As of right now, I only see a few. There's the one behind me that has the big roof. My great aunt and uncle's house, they have a tree through their sunroom, so about 4 or 5 houses.
Have you been through this before? Tell us what you were feeling as you and your family gathered in a safe place together to talk about the storm heading your way.
This is actually the first time that I've ever experienced a tornado. One of my favorite movies is Twister, so I've kind of always figured always get to a safe place first. And then since we were already inside the house, that we got everybody else downstairs, and I was making sure that nothing else bad was going to happen first before I went down there, making sure everybody was safe before I was.
Will this change the way you think about things when you hear of sirens or you hear of concerns on the television about storms heading through your way?
Yes, I've been a fan of storms ever since I was a little girl, and basically we've always watched them, but none have ever been as serious as it was today.
Yeah, now the storms are literally in your backyard. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us tonight, and glad that you and your family and those around you are safe.
Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 10.
Intense moments caught on camera tonight. Incredible video out of Cameron, Illinois. Not one, but several tornadoes dropping out of that storm around the QCA.
And this video sent in to us from a viewer in Swedensburg, Iowa. That's in Henry County, north of Mount Pleasant. Some very dark, ominous clouds with that tornado apparently tonight.
And another tornado spotted in Port Byron, leaving significant damage. We're bringing you team coverage of all that damage tonight. And we are looking at some serious damage in the QCA. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sharon DeReek.
And I'm Gary with TVA. We have crews across the area right now trying to get a better idea of what sort of damage we are talking about. The hardest hit area from what we hear, Cameron, Illinois tonight. Let's go live there. I believe we have James Stratton first tonight to tell us what you are seeing, James, in that community of about 800 people that has been hit hard tonight.
Good evening, Gary. I'm actually on the west side of town on 130th Street and 180th Avenue. And I'm not sure how well you can actually see this, but large power lines down across the street, and the street is actually flooded. Now, this is 130th Street, and there is actually a railroad crossing as well. And as you can see, that bright, shiny X That is a railroad sign that has been completely toppled. Now, we actually have not been told if these power lines that you can see running across the road are hot or not. We're waiting on McDonough County Power to come test them and shut them off. But once again, we are a couple miles west of town. Police not letting anyone in at the moment. But we will try and get in and try and talk to the people that are affected and see what is going on in town and around town. So for now, reporting live outside of Cameron, Illinois, James Stratton, KWQC, TV6 News.
All right, James, thank you. And we have heard reports of injuries there, have not had that confirmed yet. But boy, this tornado system, as it ripped its way through that area, we were following this live on TV for hours this evening. A very incredible system. And
we have some absolutely incredible video of the tornado. Actually, 3 and even 4 tornadoes dropping out of the sky. Eric Maitland, now Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland, is going to walk us through what happened during the storm.
Yeah, we want to thank Colby Martin for some incredible video of the tornado that approached and went through Cameron, Illinois tonight. Now, we'll see it in different stages here, but first of all, a large tornado right there. Now, we had reports, and Elizabeth Goodsit was telling us that we were having reports at times of up to 6 tornadoes. Well, actually, what it appears to be here, and this video kind of bears this out, one tornadic storm with multiple vortices, and you can see just how ominous that sky. Look at that spin up right there. You know, within the parent tornado, which covers a particular circle, say, of area, there will be smaller vortices like these that have even faster wind speeds. So as the main tornado really starts to weaken things, these multiple vortices, these smaller tornadoes within the main tornado, if you will, come and finish things off. And so that's why we're seeing a wide damage path around Cameron, Illinois tonight. And there you can see, I mean, words can't even describe it. As you just look and see what that tornado was doing, it would branch off into more vortices like those ones on the left wrapping around the main tornado, and suddenly those would pick up speed and do damage. Unfortunately, I think much of the damage that we're going to see from these storms will only be illuminated by the light of day tomorrow.
Boy, look at those explosions right now. Have you ever seen anything like that come through this area?
Not in this area. That many funnels all dropping down out of the sky. As James Stratton mentioned, KWQC's Elizabeth Goodsit is on the opposite side of Cameron. We're going to go to her now to see what she is seeing from her vantage point. Elizabeth?
Well, we are at the north end of town, as James was talking about, and you can see there is a multi-agency response here. We have state police, we have the Warren County Sheriff, volunteer firefighters, first responders from many cities across the QCA coming here to help as soon as they heard about what happened. We have heard from the Warren County Sheriff a tornado coming through Kirkwood, Cameron, and Monmouth, but officers tell us some of them hearing possibly 6 of those tornadoes coming through, really doing some damage at this town. At this point, we are at a staging area. Unless you live in Cameron, you are not allowed into this area because of the concern about the power. We know that electricity, gas being shut off at this point. And I know you talked about power lines. We do have another picture. Colby Martin tweeted us that the power lines just down really as far as the eye can see, giving you an idea of how powerful those winds are, how they just swept on through this town. We also want to show you a picture of this silo just toppled, a huge silo laying on its side right in the middle of town. Obviously, you can imagine the power of the wind, the storm that could have done that. And of course, the homes ripped apart, caved in, damaged. At this point, we don't know about injuries. We are still waiting on that. We know people are here searching. There is heavy equipment on scene. We are told anywhere from 500 to 800 people in this town, and first responders doing everything they can to help them. At this point, unless you live here, you can't get in. So 140th Street to the north and south of town, also 180th Avenue to the east and west, those are closed. Police turning people away who are trying to come through. We are waiting for an update. We're hoping to get that any moment, and we will bring you new information as soon as that comes in. For now, we are reporting live here in Cameron. Elizabeth Goodsit, KWQC TV6 News.
And Elizabeth, as you have been there now for more than an hour, nobody's being allowed in, emergency vehicles coming from all over. Have you seen, I hate to ask this question, but ambulances coming to and fro because they would need to bring the people perhaps to Monmouth or somewhere in that region?
Gary, we haven't seen any of those at this point, which we are assuming is a good sign. You know, you can't do that. It could be to make an assumption like that. We have seen several fire trucks, police cars, but no ambulances making their way in or out at this point.
All right, and we have heard that there are some homes damaged, that there's a lot of people without power. So when that happens, of course, the American Red Cross gets involved.
Yeah, hundreds are without power tonight. We'll get you updated on that from Ameren in a moment. But Trish Burnett, we believe, have on the phone now. She's with the Red Cross. And Trish, if you can hear me, can you tell us about your response? Have you been called in to help?
Well, we have sent a disaster team already to the location. They're taking bottled water, snacks, just some canteen items for responders and storm victims. We also have volunteers on standby if a shelter is needed. We're waiting for officials to let us know if they do need a shelter for some of those residents, and we've got supplies and volunteers ready to set that up very quickly if it is needed. We also waiting to see how it progresses, what other services may be needed at this point.
Well, and this storm really has only been out of the area for 90 minutes or so. I mean, how quickly do you amass your team, and how many people do you have going there tonight and trying to help?
You know, I don't have a number exactly, but we have a great team out of the Galesburg area that was close and obviously monitoring the weather, so they were ready to go. And those folks, as I said, have already gone to Cameron and have taken some initial supplies with them to see what else is needed. So we can luckily respond really quickly because we have great volunteers all across the region.
And Trish, if people in our area want to help the Red Cross help these people, what can they do tonight?
You know, the best thing is to donate to the disaster fund, which you can do through redcross.org. We don't know yet what's going to be needed specifically, so we're just prepared for whatever the emergency personnel tell us. But actually, monetary donations for most disasters are the most useful things.
All right, Trish, thank you so much. It's going to be a busy couple of days for the Red Cross and the volunteers there. You guys always do such great work. Thank you for talking to us tonight. And, you know, we've had a number of reports of damage all around the area tonight as well. Tiffany Liu continues our team coverage.
Yeah, she's in Port Byron. You know, we're tracking all these storm systems. We had 2 issued warnings at about the same time. In Port Byron, we saw some significant damage earlier. Tiffany, what do you have for us?
Gary, Sharon, neighbors here tell me it happened shortly after 6:30 tonight when a tornado swept through the area. We also got a lot of viewer photos and videos of funnel clouds that came through. And just driving through the neighborhood, it's clear that something did come through here, and the storm left quite a bit of damage. Now, we are at one of the homes which had a lot of damage. You could see that people are working up top the roof right now. The garage door was also bent. And I actually have the homeowner with me right now, Greg Janicki. I know you told me earlier that you weren't home when this happened, but what was your reaction when you first pulled into the driveway?
It was scary to see, you know, what had happened with the roof blowing off and stuff, but people were already here at work. Our neighbors came to help us immediately. So kind of put the family at ease and my kids at ease that, you know, things were getting taken care of right away.
Have you ever seen any type of storm damage like this in Port Byron before?
I have not. No, I've never seen damage like this before. I know there's been worse than what we've been hit with, but for me personally, this is the worst I've seen.
Now talk to me a little bit about the damage that has happened to your home. What did you see when you came home?
Well, inside there's insulation blowing everywhere. The roof came off on that side of the house, so we have the ceiling exposed so we can see up through the ceiling. The whole attic ceiling's gone. Same thing on this side of the house for the garage and laundry room. Ceiling's blown away. Just insulation everywhere, water damage dripping down into the bedrooms and now into the basement coming down too. So they're getting that patched up at the moment too. Hopefully it doesn't get too much worse.
All right. What were your immediate steps when you came home? I see a lot of crews are out here kind of working, helping you guys clean up.
Just making sure that you know, the people that were here helping had, you know, things that they needed too. They were very supportive right away, and I didn't really need to do much. My neighbors and family were here getting to work right away, so I just checked out the damage and just started helping move a few things out of the way and making phone calls to insurance and stuff like that.
Sure. I'm sure in situations like this, we're just grateful that nobody was home and everybody was safe at the end of the day. Well, thanks for joining us. I know you have to take care of a bunch of things right now at this point. Now, tomorrow, the National Weather Service will be out here surveying the damage to determine what exactly came through Port Byron, Illinois. We're reporting live in Port Byron. Tiffany Liu, KWQC, TV6 News.
Tiffany, we saw pretty extensive damage on that home. Are you getting an idea of how many other homes were damaged in the Port Byron area tonight?
Well, just talking to the other neighbors around the area, it doesn't seem like their homes are too damaged, but we did see a lot of uprooted trees. You know, a couple basketball hoops are tilted over and things like that, but it seems like otherwise homes damaged are pretty minor in this area. Greg got most of the damage actually right here on this street.
All right, that's some of the physical damage we saw. Thank you, Tiffany. And to some of the emotional scenes, too. One woman told us what she was experiencing as she watched this storm system come through.
He's like, yeah, they're rotating, everybody get in the basement. And then so my brother and his friend were over and they got down in the basement. So we're all sitting outside watching. And then I got a video of the tornado while it was in the next edition over from where we lived. We're a pretty close-knit community and we're just trying to help each other out. As you can see behind me, there's a roof that has been blown off and we're just trying to help each other out, clean up as much as we can.
We ran downstairs and as soon as we emerged, we see the damage to our neighbors' houses, trees down, play sets gone, just a lot of damage in our neighborhood in just a small area. You never think it's going to happen to you until it happens.
Pretty scary stuff tonight. Our crews are still out and about tonight working to get a better idea of the extent of the damage. Of course, we'll keep checking in with them throughout the newscast.
Tonight, by the way, a perfect example. If severe weather strikes our area, you can't get a TV, perhaps you lose power, perhaps the rain's too heavy. You can download our KWQC weather app for all mobile devices. You can take that down to your basement with you to follow the storm and follow our coverage anytime severe weather hits. Find out more on this at kwqc.com.